Hello, students, and welcome to week 13, session 1 of English 1. So, we only have this week and next week for videos, and then it's finals. Can you believe it? We're already almost done. So, let's focus on getting you extra prepared for that final exam by continuing to learn the material in Unit 6. So let's go ahead and begin. First, let's look at what you need for this lesson. You will need your Action English 1 textbook. We will be working on pages 78 and 79, and also pages 128 and 129. So please make sure that you have your book in front of you while you watch this video and that you do the activities that you see in your book as well. There will be times to pause, do it in your book, and we'll check the answers. You also need a notebook and a pencil. It is a very good idea to always have a notebook and a pencil when you are watching these lectures, right? Because you can take notes and it will help you when you are doing an assignment or when you do projects like your final exam. You can look at your notes and it will be so easy to do. So, do you have your textbook, a notebook, and a pen or pencil? Yes? Then let's go ahead and begin. We'll start by talking about what our goals are. So we are going to learn about quantity expressions and read about making decisions and stating opinions. First, we are going to talk about quantity expressions. Let's look at these words first. Here, the key word is quantity, which is how much of something there is. So if I ask you about the quantity, you could give me a number like 5, 10, 20, or you could use an expression or a word or a phrase to tell me how much you have. And today we're going to look at expressions to talk about quantity, okay? So let's start by looking at this pizza. Now let's say there's the whole pizza. How much of the pizza have I eaten? Well, right now I have eaten none of the pizza. Very sad. Okay, none is 0. I have eaten none of the pizza. Okay, I had one slice, so I could say I've had some of the pizza. 2 slices, I've had some. Oof, now I have eaten about half of the pizza. Still close to half. Now I have eaten a lot of the pizza, most of the pizza, and all of the pizza. Maybe I will feel very sick and sad if I ate all of the pizza. So these are the words that we can use, right? None, some, half, a lot, most, and all. So let's look at these words much closer. So here, this we see on page 78. These are quantity expressions. We start at 0% and go to 100%. So 0%, we use the word none. I have eaten none of the pizza. Or I have seen none of my students today. Then next we have some. So if none is 0%, some is 1% to about 45%. 40% or so. And when we get to 50%, we are at half, right? This is half, 1 over 2, half. I have eaten half of the pizza. I have drank half of my water. Moving up from half, we have the term a lot. I have had a lot of my water. And after a lot, we would go up to most. Most means almost all. We're very close to all, right? All is 100%. Most is very close. So let's look at these phrases together again. None, some, half, a lot, most, and all. Okay? So we're going to get a lot of practice with these for the rest of this session and really learn how to use these words correctly. So we are going to be in your textbook right now on page 129. So please open your book to page 129. All right. There is a very big chart here with a lot of information. Let's look at it slowly. First, we see our quantity words. We are going to learn how to make sentences using these words. So we have our 6 terms: all, most, a lot, half, some, and none. Then we see the word of. So here we're looking at quantity expressions with specific nouns. And we'll talk more about that in just a moment. So we can say all of, a determiner like my. And we see here that a determiner is a small word like the, that, or my. A plural count noun like friends or them. And then the rest of our information. What are we trying to say? So let's look at this a little closer. Here, we're looking at quantity expressions with specific nouns. So let's go back. And we see that we're using plural, which means many, right? So we see S, and something called a count noun. A count noun is anything you can count. To count means like 1, 2, 3, 4. And a noun is 명사, right? So if it is a noun you can count, it is a count noun. For example, 5 friends, 10 books, 32 trees. These are count nouns because we can count them. So if I want to tell about some quantity with these specific nouns, I could say something like all of my friends, or all of them, live at home. I could say some of my friends, or some of them, live at home. I could say none of my friends, or none of them, live at home. So we can use our determiner and noun, my friends, the students, and so on, or we can use a pronoun like them, right? So let's try one more example. A lot of my friends, or a lot of them, live at home. So here we're using specific nouns. We can also use this with non-count nouns. For example, I could say half of my homework is finished. This is a way that we can talk about the amounts of specific nouns. It can be count nouns or it can be non-count nouns like homework. Okay? So let's go ahead and continue. We're going to look at some examples. Let me move my face, hopefully maybe down here. We'll move me down here. Okay, so here we see a chart. talking about school lunch, favorite school lunch. So we're going to try to use our terms like all, most, some, many, or none, some, a lot, and so on, half, to see if we can describe the favorite school lunch. Let's start with our plural count noun, which is students, right? So we're talking about school lunch. We're talking about the students. And let's look at how many students like pizza. Well, we see that 65% of students like pizza. Is that all? It's not all, but it's most. So I could say most of the students like pizza. Most of them do. 65% is most, right? It's more than 15% or 10% or 5%. Most of the students like pizza. How about how many students like hamburgers? We're over here at 15%. So is it most? No. But we could say a lot of the students like hamburgers, right? They're second place there with hamburgers. A lot of the students like hamburgers. Let's go down to salad. How many of the students like salad? Just 10%, right? Just up here at 10%. So I could say some of the students like salad. Some of them like salad. Let's look at our last two, chicken sandwich and tacos. So how many of the students like chicken sandwiches and tacos? I could say few. This is another term we can use. It means not many or just a little. Few of the students like tacos and chicken sandwiches. And these are all ways that we can express quantity. Most of the students, a lot of the students, some of the students. And notice again that our structure, we have quantity, some, a lot, few, many, of, our determiner, which is small words like the, my, or that. Our plural count noun, right? We can count students, our plural noun, and the activity. Now, what if we have something like sloppy joes? Have you ever had a sloppy joe? They're not even on the chart, so we could say none of the students like sloppy joes, right? None of them. 0%, none of them like that. All right. So now that we have looked at how to use quantity expressions with specific nouns, let's look at quantity expressions with general nouns. So we can use all, most, a lot of, and some, followed by a noun, to make general statements about people or things everywhere. So specific examples were things like none of the students like sloppy joes. I'm talking about specifically those students. If I say something like all students study hard, that means students everywhere. All students everywhere study hard. If I say something like most water is clean, this means in all the world, everywhere, most water is clean. So now let's go ahead and learn a bit more about quantity expressions with general nouns like this, okay? Notice that we do not use of because we're not talking about all of those people or all of that homework or that thing. We're talking about general everywhere, so no of. Let's go ahead and look at these sentences. So we're here in your book. Some of these might have more than one correct answer. Let's look one by one. So number one, I could say some people want to be happy in life, or some of people want to be happy in life. Am I trying to make a general statement about everyone, some people, or am I talking about just a small group? Here, I would be talking about just general. So I could say some people want to be happy in life. One way we know this is the answer is there is no determiner there. There's no the or my or that, right? So that's a key that shows us it's a general statement. Some people want to be happy in life. But I would say most people or all people want to be happy, right? Let's go ahead and look at number two. Blank, my friends speak English, but blank them speak it at home. All right, so here we see a determiner, my friends, and a pronoun them. So is this a general statement or something specific? Here it is specific. Most of my friends speak English. Okay, and how do we know we use of? Because we have that determiner my, and it's not about friends everywhere, it's my friends, specific. And would I say none or none of? I would say none of them, right? Here we have our pronoun, none of them speak it at home. This is all part of one specific example. Most of my friends speak English, but none of them speak it at home. Let's go to number three. So here we see blank, students live with their families because it's cheaper. Do we have a determiner here, the or that or my? No. So this is a general statement. Some students live with their family because it's cheaper. Some students. General statement, no the. All right, let's go to number four. We have our neighbors have children and a blank, them have pets too. All right, just like in number two, we have that determiner, our, my, your, our neighbors. And here a pronoun, them. This means it's specific. It's about specific people, so we use of, half of, and a couple of. Half of our neighbors have children. A couple of them have pets too. We use that of because it's specific, and we have those determiners, our in that pronoun, them. Blank parents want their children to do well in school. Do we have a determiner? Is it my parents? Is it your parents? We don't know. So it's general, and we would say all parents want their children to do well in school. Finally, number six, blank, the instructors at my school are really strict. Here we see a determiner, the, and then a plural count noun, instructors, at my school. So this is not about all people everywhere. It is specific, right? So we'd say all of. All of the instructors at my school are really strict. So the key point here is when you see determiners like my, pronouns like them, determiners like our and the, we use of. Some of, most of, half of, a lot of, a couple of. That's when we're talking about a specific example. If it's about everyone everywhere, no of. Some people, all parents, and so on. All right. So I wonder if you agree with these sentences that some people want to be happy in life. If not, please rewrite them and change the words as necessary. For example, we saw in number one, some people want to be happy in life. I disagree. I think all people want to be happy in life. So, like this, in your book, please change the sentences so that you agree with them. Okay, now let's go on to page 78 in your textbook. So here we're going to look at of and how we say it when it is unstressed. Normally we say this word of very clear, right? But let's go ahead and practice saying these sentences below. First, just listen, okay? And then I want you to repeat after me. Number 1, a lot of college graduates move back home. Just listen. A lot of college graduates move back home. Now, how did I say of in that sentence? A lot of college graduates. Did I say of very clear? Something that can happen here is a linked sound. So I didn't say a lot of, it's unstressed. A lot of. A lot of. Let's look at number 2. Just listen. Most of my friends live at home. Most of my friends live at home. Again, I didn't say most of my friends. I said most of my friends. Most of my friends. And again, we have that linked sound. Most of. Most of. A lot of. A lot of. And number 3, just listen. Some of them have part-time jobs. Some of them have part-time jobs. Did I say some of them? No, I said some of them. Some of them. Again, we have that linked sound, some of. Now, please listen and repeat. A lot of. A lot of. A lot of college graduates move back home. Okay, number 2. Most of. Most of. Most of my friends live at home. Number 3. Some of. Some of. Some of them have part-time jobs. Okay, got it? So when we use that quantity word and of, the sounds are linked. A lot of, none of, most of, a lot of, some of, and so on. Okay? And just a key note here that when we say a couple, we mean two, a couple. I have a couple books right next to me. I have a couple. I have 2 books. All right, everyone. So this is in your book. I'm going to try to move myself somewhere, maybe here. So this is an Indian family. So can I make myself smaller? No? Oh, here we go. Okay. This is in your book. So here we see information about each family, right? So we have the Shaw family and the Ikeda family, the Oliveira family, the Che family, the Vega family, and the Kumar family. And here we see information about hometown, language, housing, transportation, where the wife works, and if they have children. So I want you to look through these examples. We see the Shaw family, right? Chicago, English, house, car, wife works at a restaurant, no children, and so on. So please look at this in your book. Then you're going to look at these 8 sentences down here, and you're going to fill them in with all, most, a lot of, some, a couple, or none in the blanks below. So, for example, if we look here at apartment, we see 4 out of 6 live in an apartment. How about if they have children? Go ahead and pause the video, fill in the blanks, okay? Okay, I trust that you did it. I hope that you did. Let's go ahead and check. How many of these families live in big cities? All, right? Chicago is a big city. Tokyo is a big city. Sao Paulo, Brazil is a big city. Seoul, Mexico City, and New Delhi. All of the families live in big cities. Notice here that in every example we're using of because it's specific to just these 6 families, right? Not people everywhere. How many of the families speak English? Here we see a couple, right? The Shaw family and the Kumar family speak English. How many of them speak French? None, right? 0. None of them speak French. How many of the families live in apartments? We could say most of them or a lot of them, right? Here we see 4 out of 6. 4 out of 6 of them live in apartments. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we could say most of the families live in apartments or a lot of the families live in apartments. Let's look at transportation. How many of them own cars? Here we can say some of them own cars. We see 1, 2, and 3. So we actually also could have said half of them own cars, right? 3 out of 6, half of them. How many of them, how many of the families do the wives work? All. All of the wives work. Restaurant, office, hotel, and so on. All of them work. How many of them work in an office? Here, just like the 4 out of 6 that live in apartments, here 4 out of 6 work in an office. So we could say a lot of them work in an office, or most of them work in an office, not live in an office. And how many of the families have children? Most, right? Only the Shaw family does not have children. Everyone else does. Okay? And let's practice that pronunciation. All of, a couple of, none of, a lot of, some of, and so on. Remember that those words kind of link together like that. All right, everyone, let's think about the families that you know. How many of the families you know have children? How many of the families you know speak a little English? And how many live in the city? You are going to do an assignment, okay? So there's a discussion post called Family Life. You're going to answer those 3 questions. How many families that you know have children, speak a little English, and live in the city? And please answer the questions using quantity expressions, right? All of the families I know have children. Some of them speak a little English. None of them live in the city, what have you, okay? So that's it for our lesson today, and I will see you next time, okay? Bye-bye.